Today, we're going to talk about portable solar for emergency or backup power. Not long ago, the power went out at our house, and it made me wonder how long would the food in the freezer or the refrigerator last without electricity. Traditionally, you might consider gasoline generator or propane generator. Both of those require that you think ahead and store extra fuel. Both of them are loud, both of them have emissions. By comparison, solar is clean, green, and has potentially free and unlimited fuel source from the sun. After considerable research, we decided to go with the Jackery Explorer 1000 to see if we could adequately power a 7 cubic foot chest freezer. The Jackery 1000 is a reasonably portable unit, weighing in about 22 pounds. There are a handful of considerations when you're exploring portable solar. Some of those include the size of the built-in battery. How much power can you store? This is about 1,000 watt hours. How much power can you output? It is called the Explorer 1000 because it puts out about 1,000 watts. And then obviously the connection options, input, DC output, AC output. So what does all that mean? 1,000 watt hours, 1,000 watt output. For example, consider, this is a simplistic example, but consider a 100 watt light bulb. 1,000 watt output means that we could simultaneously power 10 100 watt light bulbs. 1,000 watt hour of output means in theory we could power those 10 100 watt light bulbs simultaneously for 1 hour. Is that right? I think that's right. So let's talk a little bit more about the input, output, and display on the Jackery Explorer 1000. Has basic LCD, shows you the percentage of charge for the built-in battery, again about 1,000 watt hours. It also shows you input and output, so if you're providing power output, you'll see the wattage there. If we're charging the device, you'll see input wattage. As far as powering the device, you have a couple choices. It comes with a DC to AC adapter. Plug this into the wall, plug this into the input port. It takes about 7 hours to fully charge from a standard wall outlet. Also comes with Anderson connector for attaching solar panels. In terms of outputs, there is a DC section, direct current, which you would use for charging most of your battery powered devices, 12 volt standard car output, handful of USB. There are also 3 standard AC outputs. Overall, the build quality seems solid, a little basic, but you can't fault them for their color choice. In terms of charging the Jackery from the sun, we decided to go with a pair of the RockPals RP82 100 watt solar panels. These have a standard Anderson connector, which will plug into the input on the Jackery. The RP82 actually comes with a splitter, so you can daisy chain 2 panels. And with 2 panels, full sun, you can get a full battery charge on the Jackery Explorer 1000 in about 8 hours. We've tested the Jackery 1000 with the Danby 7 cubic foot chest freezer. The Danby requires 1.2 amps at 115 volts. If we multiply amps times volts, we get approximate wattage requirements for this device or for similar devices. I was going to say how much the math was there, but I don't remember what it is, 125-ish. If we want to have ice cream in the apocalypse, which we do, we need to power our Danby 7 cubic foot chest freezer. We can do some basic math to estimate how long we should be able to run our freezer based on the 1,000 watt hour battery built into the Jackery. You can do this for similar electronic appliances. If you look up the amperage and the voltage, you can multiply those together and determine the basic wattage requirements. This is 1.2 amp, 115 volt, 138 watts. If you take the 138 watts, divide them into 1,000 watt hours, in theory, the Jackery should power the Danby for about 7.5 hours. Fortunately, freezers aren't continuously running. They run cooling cycle, go off. So we will get considerably longer runtime than 7.5 hours. So what about our actual testing results? Math aside, the Jackery at 100% charge and the Danby plugged into the Jackery, we get approximately 28 hours of runtime. Considering that it takes us about 8 hours of full sun to recharge the Jackery, you don't get 8 hours of sun in the average day. You might get 8 hours of sun in a couple days. That means we're not going to be able to continuously power the freezer with this unit. Having said that, if we're careful, we keep the freezer lid closed and we only get ice cream in emergencies, it will adequately, if minimally, power the Danby. You might consider pairing this with a smaller unit. We've tested this with a 5 cubic foot mini fridge, much smaller freezer, but it will power that device for just over 40 hours, which is sustainable, renewable, continuously. In summary, in our testing, the Jackery Explorer 1000 paired with two RockPals 100 watt solar panels will allow us, even if we have to fall back from the Danby to the mini fridge, to have ice cream in the apocalypse. Though your apocalyptic priorities might be slightly different than ours, we hope this video was helpful. There's a link in the description below that describes the exact equipment we used in our testing. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. What does all that mean? What does all that mean? What does...